Right, welcome to another video. Slightly different setting in this one. It's another wet belt, a Fiesta this time. Well, I say it's wet belt. It's coming for the oil light staying on when you first start it. So it's been here overnight. Just pushed it in the workshop. I'm just going to fire it up now and show you the oil light staying on. I haven't started it, so I just want to fire it up, make sure the oil light is staying on, and then we can do some diagnosis on it. Whip the sump down, check the strainer. If that's blocked, then it's going to be carry on and do the wet belt, which I suspect it is, but we'll just do a bit of diagnosis first before we jump in and do stuff we don't need to do. So what I'm going to do now is just fire it up, and the oil light is going to stay on. How long it'll stay on for, I don't know. The customer just said it's staying on longer than it used to, so we'll do that now. Make sure we're not in gear. Yeah, so we're running now, and you can see that oil light is staying on way too long. That should have been out ages ago. As soon as it fires, it should go out. So I'm going to shut that down because we don't want to do any damage. Let's get it up in the air, get the sump off, see how bad the strainer is, and we'll go from there. Right. So we're now underneath, cap's off, sump's off. Well, obviously you drain the oil, it's still dripping a bit, but it is what it is. I've looked in that strainer. It is pretty chock-a-block in there. It's hard to tell with it on the car still, but I can't see any of the gauze. So what I'm gonna do is pop it out. It's easier just to pop it out rather than trying to show you on the car. Pop it out and hold it up, and we'll have a look and see how bad it actually is. I expect there'll be a bit of oil will come out when we pop it out, maybe. Wowzer. Right, let's just leave that there a second. Need a pick handy, so what we can do is pop that down there, and then we can, Jesus Christ, this is a bad one. Here comes all the oil that is stuck in the oil pump because it can't flow back through the gauze to get back in the sump. Here it comes. So that's how blocked it is. The oil can't even flow back through it to get back to the sump. So I'm now covered in oil. What I'll do is tip you up that way, and we'll shine a torch. So you can see the torch is on. You can't even see a torch through it. So that is absolutely block solid. If it focuses. It's almost like it's gone hard. Normally it comes off of the strainer quite easily, but yeah, that's horrendous. That's the worst one I've ever seen. So that's our cause for the oil light being on. Yeah, big clean up. You can just see bits of the orange bits there. That's off the belt. All of this is belt really, but I can't believe how hard it's gone. It's like it's baked it on there. This camera decides to focus. So yeah, you can really see how mucky that is. There's not as much on there as I thought it was going to be, but it's gone a lot harder. It's like, normally it's quite fluffy, but it's not like that at all. So we'll carry on now. I'll have to speak to the customer, tell him what I found, see what he wants to do, but I should imagine the belt will be in quite a state. And then a big clean up, try and get as much of the bits out. And we'll see what the filter for the turbo is like on this one. It hadn't lost any oil. When I took the intercooler pipe off, there wasn't any oil in the intercooler, but there's a tiny bit. We always get a tiny bit in there. So I don't think the turbo's gone, but I reckon the filter will be fairly blocked. But regardless, none of it's getting oil pressure because of the state of that pickup. So yeah, let's get it apart, get the belt changed, get it all cleaned up, get this put back together, fire it up and see if it's all right. Right, So, little catch up. Gone ahead, pulled it apart. You seen me in the last video, time lapse, taking it apart, so I didn't think you need to see that again. As I showed you earlier, the pickup for the oil pump is absolutely chock-a-block. And when you shine a light on it, or torch on it, you couldn't even see the light through it. So that is why our oil light's staying on. Also, this is the filter that a lot of people don't know about or are missing or not changing or not cleaning. This filter is a feed to the turbo. So a couple of videos ago, I've done the same process, wet belt because of turbo failure, and that was block solid. This one also, if you put, I know it's hard to see, but if you put a torch through that, it's absolutely block solid again. So we can compare that to a new one. It's just a gold, so you can see right through it. So it should be, that's the new one. So that's what will be going in. Put that back in the bag. But that is absolutely chock-a-block. So not much longer, and the turbo would have been, well, it's probably already been starved of oil a bit. I've had a feel of it, it feels all right. So luckily, hopefully, fingers crossed, this customer's got away with it. In regards to the belt, again, it's the same sort of degradation that we're seeing on all of them. That red material, whatever it is that are putting on it's coming off. Also, if you, I know the belt doesn't get loaded like that, but the teeth are literally just ripping in half. So that is absolutely knackered as well. The oil pump belt, I haven't even looked at this one yet, but it's probably very similar. I'll just turn that one inside out. Yeah, it's starting to break up. It's not as bad as the main cam belt, but it's still starting to break up. That one seems really stiff as well. And what I have noticed on this one as well, the stuff that's in the strainer, this is really baked on. It's like rock hard, and it's the oil is incredibly dirty. It's the dirtiest one I've taken apart yet, so I don't think it's been serviced particularly well. But this is why, again, I can't reiterate enough, you need to have your belt done. Obviously in our last video, the customer had it done for a period because of the time period rather than mileage, and we've seen much better results. I know it's only 7 years, I think it's been on there, 6 years, but get it done. 6 years is quite a long time, isn't it? And the car should last a lot longer, and you're not experiencing blockages like this, turbo failures, so on and so forth. Save yourself a lot of money. So what I'm going to do is get the engine all cleaned up because it's pretty mucky in there. I'll get the new belt on, get the covers on, get the sump back on, and I will make sure I put you on a time lapse of me putting it back together. Once I've got the crank bolt torqued, I'd like to sort of concentrate on that rather than trying to film that. I need to get that right. But once I've done that, I will yeah, get you on a time lapse and you can see us working away. Right, so we're progressing nicely. Like I said just now, the cover's all on, crank bolt in, that's all torqued, sump's up, that's all torqued, so all the sealing effectively is done. A few little bits on the rock cover that I put sealer on, I'll show you that in a bit. So yeah, now it's a case of just getting it built back up. The first thing I'll be putting back on will be the cat. So I'll take out the timing tool from the back of the block because I've done a couple rotations, checked all that. So I can remove that, remove the locking tool from where the starter goes in, pop the starter back in, and then I put the cat back on because on these Fiestas it's quite tight down the front with the aircon pump, so you're going to make sure the cat's on before the aircon pump goes on. Also, we've got to make a repair to the cat because when we took it apart, it is slightly worse for wear. So we've got a repair pipe. So before I bolt that back on, I'll like cut it here, give myself plenty of space, slide this off because that's on the new piece of exhaust, and then I can sort of fit them both together and work out where it wants to be cut once it's on the vehicle. That's I find the best way. So I'll get the cat mounted on the turbo, bolted to the block. Yeah, so we're getting there. Like I say, the sump's all on. crankshaft pulley's on. That one's torqued up, nice and tight. So yeah, what I'll do is put you on a time lapse so you can see me fitting all these bits on, fitting the cat, the process we go through to repair it, fit that repair flex unit. The only reason we don't normally fit stuff like that, but because it's the cat, it's so expensive, it's much more cost effective for the customer to put just put that repair pipe in there. So it gets stupid if you just put in cats on for the flexi, and they make a proper one that fits. It's not bodge it in and weld it up sort of thing. It's the one for the job, so it fits really well. So we'll crack on with that, and yeah, we'll catch up in a bit. You can be on the camera, Marty. You can run in the way. Hey? Who?
Graph City, isn't it?
Graph City. Right, so we are progressing nicely. As you can see, I've got the rock cover on. I've gone ahead and done that. All the caps on. All the auxiliary stuff is on. Alternator's back on. Tensioner's back on. Water pump's in. I haven't put the belt on yet because I'm still waiting for it to arrive. It's just turned up. So we'll do that probably next. Fuel pump's got to go in. Coil pack's got to go in. The fuel rail's in. Fuel pump next. Put the pipe on, coil packs, run all the wiring harness across, the breather system, that's got to be all connected, So yeah, we are getting there, not too far away now. Held up a little bit by the belt because obviously you can't put the cover on and stuff. So we'll get the belt on next, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll stick you on a time lapse and you can see the few little bits we've got left to do. Put the coil packs in, just put a new set of plugs in, so they're brand new. Yes, get it squared away, and we'll be finished quite shortly, I should think. Right, so there we go, another one finished. All buttoned up, all checked, full of coolant, full of oil on the maximum of both. So obviously that'll be checked again after a road test. I go for a little short road test, come back, check everything, and then I go for a more extensive road test. I've just fired it up just to make sure it fires and it's okay. I always crank them. They'll only crank for so long and then they stop cranking. So I do that 3 times just to make sure we got good oil circulation. And whilst I do that, I have the coil packs unplugged. So 1, 2, 3 unplugged. In behind here is a master plug for the 3 injector trigger wires. So I have that one unplugged, and I unplugged the high pressure fuel pump as well. So there's no chance of it starting. Like I say, do that like 3 times, then plug it all back in, and then we fire it up. So if you remember from earlier in the video, the oil light was not taking forever to go out. It wasn't going out. So now you can see it's on like it should be. But then as soon as it fires up, it goes straight out. So that's perfect now. We've got no oil pressure issues. And also there's an oil pressure message up there after about 15 seconds of it running. Saying no oil pressure, service immediately or something, whatever it says. But that's all perfect now. Oil light's going straight out. So another good job done. Another belt, another blocked pickup. Hopefully we've saved the turbo on this one, because we have cleaned out the feed pipe to the turbo. As you can see, sounds sweet. Well, as sweet as they sound. So everyone gives these loads of stick for, and they call them eco booms. I know they give a lot of trouble with a wet belt and stuff, but this one's come in, it's had no oil pressure, the customer drove it in, God knows how long it's been like that, the oil pickup's completely blocked, yet rectified them problems, replace the belt, clean the strainer out, clean out a few filters, put it all back together, and it's absolutely sweet as a nut. So other than the wet belt issue they have, but 80% of cars have a cam belt, don't they, that need changing. So I know they need changing a bit earlier, and it's probably a bit more expensive, but I don't think they're as bad as everyone says. I'll probably get a fair bit of abuse for that, but I don't mind. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Give me yours. Let's hear what you think of them. But you've also got to take into account that I'm taking them apart. So yeah, that's what I think. A lot of people slate them. I'm sure you'll all slate me, like I say. So there we go, another one done. So don't forget to do the magic buttons, like, subscribe, bell notification button. See if we can get up over, I think it's our next milestone will be like 5,000 subscribers. So if we can get there, that would be really cool. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.